All right. Good morning. Let us check and make sure we're running properly. Hello, 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 hello. Okay, we're good. All right. Let's click on that right there and that right there, and we'll take a sip of this. Good morning. Welcome to Coffee and Resales. It's Monday. My name is Ryan. I get stuff from yard sales, garage sales, thrift stores, um, various places of that sort. Try to make a few extra bucks online. Today, bread and butter. Uh, Actually, a little bit low on the weekend sales. Usually, I think I've been pushing 10 sales over a weekend. Today, if you count late Friday, was five. Uh, we're gonna go over four of them. I got one out in the mail. $50 three investigators book. Uh, Sold late Friday, which is good. Kind of make up for everything else is bread and butter, small stuff. But that being said, we got it sold and we're getting stuff out. So I actually have a sort of death pile sale, which is always nice. And a couple of things that I listed early, like Thursday or something, and they sold. So we're going to jump on that. A handful of finds, nothing extreme, but stuff worth pulling up and poking at. So we'll go with that for now. So sales. Let's jump on it and go with that. I got this at Last Chance Goodwill, where it was cheap. I think this was a quarter purchase. So party time karaoke Christmas 6-pack, sold it for $10. I don't do a lot of CDs and that sort of stuff. I don't scan it and flip a lot of them. I have done a few, if I see something intriguing, I'll grab it and look at it. But Christmas CDs are a weird animal. I don't know enough about them to know which ones to grab. Let's put it that way. My understanding is there's a handful out there that may have a unique song or something on them, and that's what people like to get is the stuff that can be a little unique or something. This looked a little unique because it was karaoke, and this was a 6-pack set, sold for $10. So I'll make money on this and get it out the door, and that was fun. Next up is this was 16. All right. Yeah, Choose Your Own Adventure, Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. I get Young Indy. I think there's a handful of Young Indiana Jones stuff that does okay. I get everything that's Choose Your Own Adventure that's kind of rare at less than a dollar or less. And this was a no-brainer. This went for $16. The Choose Your Own Adventures that are out of print tend to do okay. You can get 5, 10, sometimes even more than that per book, and they lot up really well. This was probably a very limited print run, which is why this specific one went for $16. So that was a fun find. Look up whenever you come across Young Indiana Jones stuff. Look it up because it didn't have. I don't think any Young Indy book had a big print run. So it's also another thing that's worth lining up. That was a fun series back in the late 90s. All right. Next up is a hat. I wanted to keep this one, but it was too tight on my big old head. This is a Quicksilver Newsboy hat, large, extra large, with a nice striping detail stuff on it. Quicksilver is a brand that's pretty good. QUIK. I think it's a skater culture brand. So this is a neat, good quality hat. I wish it fit me, but my head's too big, particularly when my hair is grown a little bit, like more than a quarter of an inch. Anyway, so fun hat, $17. Look up good quality hats like sometimes you have your costume and your dollar and you're real and you can tell really poorly made. Made like you can look at it if there's a label that just says "Made in China," and that's not the one you want to grab. But real brands uh, with quality material, look those hats up. I would say about 1 in 5, maybe 1 in 10, are probably worth flipping and keeping an eye on. So, particularly if they're good quality stuff, those things are good. Finally, this was kind of death pile. I think I had that listed for a few months. This was interesting. This was one of those death pile things. I'd had these books. Kids didn't read them, so I finally pulled them out of the box and put them up, and they sold in like less than a week. I think I've been sitting on these for a couple of years. Brian Jacques. This is the Redwall series paperbacks. These lot up really well. These 5 went for $18. I may if there's some sticker residue and some slight damage on the covers. Could I have gotten? I put them up for I think 25 and took 18. If these were in like really good shape, the 25 was probably a no brainer. So that was a good get it out the door type flip, particularly something that's been sitting around the house for a little too long. That's worth a sip of coffee. All right, fines. A couple of things that I'm kind of intrigued about that we'll talk about as I gather a few things up right here. First off, I love doing hats. I wish I'd find more of them at cheaper prices. Finding hats to flip for a buck or less is great. This is a Dixie Horse and Mule Company hat. This is $15-$20 hat, I think. Pretty cool design with the barbed wire and stuff. Horse and tack hats from feed companies and that sort of stuff thanks to my buddy John over at Small Time Bookseller, who I think has a little bit better access to some of this stuff being out in Texas, has pointed me toward selling hats from feed stores that aren't Tractor Supply. Those tend to do pretty good. So I'm curious to see how well that one does. It was $1. So there you go. Lord of the Flies. These Lord of the Flies, particularly older books, tend to do okay. These are this one is going to be probably around a $6 to $10 book, depending on when it sells. This is an older version. These do all right. It's clean, a little bit of a cover issue, but it was. I almost grab every Lord of the Flies I see, because in a handful of the school groups that I'm on Facebook, I can move this as well if it doesn't flip on eBay. Next, I'm finding it hard to pass these up. These are $8 to $15 sellers. These Images of America books. These are fun. Particularly, I found one that was close to where I grew up and read it, and it had some fun stuff in it. This one's in Decatur. I did not grow up near Decatur. But I tend to grab all these. These tend to go $8 to $10. They do sit a little while, but when somebody's wanting genealogy or local history stuff, this is a good find. Finally, another book. This was a fun find as well. Rollerball. This is from the 1970s movie. This is actually, I think, a collection of short stories. And this, where do I have this? I think I got this up for $20 to $30. And this was a neat find. Always look up older movie TV books. They're not all all sell well, but some do. Particularly your sci-fi fantasy stuff occasionally holds a little bit of value. Yeah, okay. I got this one up for $25. There was one in like mint condition that went for over 30. This is going to be around. I think I'm going to get at least 15 for this. This is a fun find. So I look up every sci-fi fantasy I see, particularly if it's movie related, because sometimes it's worth grabbing. That book probably only had a very limited print run, which is why it kind of goes for what it does. All right. Finally, I was at a yard sale and talked down some folks on some calipers. A couple of these are U.S. made. These are machinist type tools, and I got a handful of them, all for $3. For that looks like 6 pieces here. I'm thinking this. I looked some of them up, and there's nothing crazy that I think I'm seeing here. I think that's a $30 set, $20 to $30 set. So that's going to be an easy flip. And I think it won't take long to do it. Specialty tools tend to do well, and particularly good quality. These are good quality, made in USA sets, and machinists still are out there. And actually, it's sort of it's also kind of becoming a garage industry with guys being with modern tooling and modern computing, sometimes even with old tooling. Being able to put things together, and if your kids are looking for something to do that's a little blue collary and is in demand, look into machinists. It's a thing that can combine both coding and sort of a blue collar work deal, and it pays really well. So that's something, and it's also something a lot of guys do hobbyists out of their garage or their backyard shops, and finding some things to do there. So that's what I've got. And I think that's what we're going to go with, because we got stuff to do. We all got things to do. It's Monday. If you don't have anything to do, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, comment, subscribe. You're doing that. So y'all have a good one, and I'll catch y'all next time.